Good evening. We know the wet weather hasn't been easy on area farmers, and this past weekend's rain was the last thing they needed.
News Channel 15's Elizabeth Field went to check on the farmers around the area. This actually, Elizabeth, could end up impacting all of us.
Yes, it could trickle down to our food costs, but it's really too soon to tell right now. It's just a really bad situation because some farmers are falling farther behind and others are now worried that the seeds they did plant could rot underwater.
With the few dry days last week, many farmers worked around the clock.
At one point where you just have to kind of decide, get it in or not, because you're starting to lose yield from the, calendar.
But the weekend's rainstorm was the last thing anyone needed for their crops, especially for farmers who weren't able to get out to work in their fields. For farmers who were able to get some of their corn in the ground, this is their biggest problem, standing water. If the seeds weren't able to germinate underneath it, it could cause big problems.
Anytime you have crops that are underwater, there's no nitrogen, and of course emergence is bad. What's probably the worst of all is if it doesn't germinate and lays there, then it'll rot.
What's worse is farmers in our area are feeling more pressure because southern farms are being purposely flooded to help control the rising rivers.
USDA is saying we need all the acres we can get, and anytime you're limited to that, we're going to have especially if we'd have some weather problems this summer, we're going to have a short crop, which could cause, higher prices.
But for now, it's all a waiting game, waiting on warmer weather, on drier ground, and what might come during the growing season.
We really won't know because we don't know what the growing season will be, how hot it'll be this summer, how dry it'll be. There's all these different conditions.
Farmers' goal is to have most of the growth of their crops by June 21st, the longest day of the year. But around June 1st, some may be forced to abandon their corn crops and just plant beans instead.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth.